Appreciate you tuning in to Birds 365. Mac guy, John McMullen, Jody McDonald on the day after round one of the 2021 NFL Draft. Bold move by the Philadelphia Eagles. They look to add a weapon. Will DeVonta Smith be that here for the next 2 years, 5 years, 10 years? Well, if he is the guy who's going to be calling out his name after he makes the big plays that the Eagles are hoping on, is our next guest. The voice of the Philadelphia Eagles, Merrill Reese, joins us here on Birds 365. How are you this morning, Merrill?
I am great, Jody. I am very, very happy. I think they got it right. I think everything broke the way they had hoped to, and then they had to make the nifty move to trade up with Dallas and pluck DeVonta Smith away from the Giants.
Yeah, Merrill, good to see you. First of all, how excited are you? I mean, you do get to call that name. Have you been practicing already? Have you thought about a few DeVonta Smith calls when the big plays are coming? You saw them at Alabama.
Yeah, you know what, John? I am a college football fan. I watch a lot of college football, and I remember watching DeVonta Smith and thinking, boy, wouldn't it be great if the Eagles somehow end up with this guy? He is really special. But then once they traded out of the 6th spot, I thought it was very, very remote that he would be there at 12. But I did figure going into the draft that they would have a shot at either Waddle or Smith, Surtain, or a Horn. And I think they got the right one.
As do I. I'm a big fan of the kid and have been for over 2 years now. Merrill, the fact that they did the deal with the Dallas Cowboys to get to number 10, to get DeVonta Smith, and you say to pluck him from the Giants, we'll never know that, but we all believe that that's the case. So they did what they had to do. Does it scare you that Dallas was the team they had to deal with to be able to get their hands on DeVonta Smith?
Well, it's not something that you would automatically think is a given that the Cowboys are going to help the Eagles or vice versa. But in this case, you're worried about yourself first. And once Carolina, I think everyone talks about the fact that Denver ended up taking Surtain, but Carolina started that.
Yeah,
took Horn. So once Horn was gone and then Surtain was gone, what's Dallas going to do? Then they were still able to move back, and it benefited them because they could move back, get the Eagles third, and get, I think, a great linebacker in Micah Parsons.
Yeah, Merrill, you bring up a good point. I think the key to it all was that J.C. Horn pick. I don't think a lot of people saw J.C. going to Carolina, staying in the Carolinas. And then all of a sudden, Denver, who had just picked up Teddy Bridgewater, because a lot of people put quarterback in Denver, maybe Justin Fields going there. All of a sudden, you have cornerback. And then maybe the Cowboys and the Eagles are scrambling a little bit because they thought those corners were going to be in the mix.
Really, I think there's a chance, a very good chance, that if the Eagles had stayed where they were at 12 at that moment, that the Cowboys, let's say the Cowboys had been able to pick one of the corners, the Giants would have taken Smith and the Eagles would have traded back.
No.
Because those are the four they would have taken.
Yeah.
At that spot. It had to be Surtain, Horn, Smith, or Waddle.
No, it becomes kind of irrelevant, but just to get your opinion on it, Merrill, if one of the two corners, be it either Horn or Surtain, had been left on the board when the Eagles picked, be it either trade up to 10 to do so, probably less likely because the Cowboys would have not given up the pick if a corner was there, but say they did, or just stay at 12 and those two players are available. Do you think the Eagles would have taken the wide receiver or the cornerback?
Well, that's a good question. I still say wide receiver. And the reason I say that is because Nick Sirianni give the new coach a gift. And Nick Sirianni is a former wide receiver coach. He loves speed. He loves an offense that really has weapons. And I think they would have leaned toward the wide receiver. Personally, I might have leaned toward Micah Parsons.
Wow. Now, you mentioned give Nick Sirianni a gift, Merrill. They also gave the young quarterback a gift. And let's remember, Jalen Hurts only has 4 starts under his belt. He's already got a history with DeVonta Smith from when he was in Alabama before the transfer to Oklahoma. So there was a little bit of a theme in that top 10. You saw Jamar Chase go back with Joe Burrow. You saw Jalen Waddle with Tua in Miami. And now you see DeVonta Smith with the Philadelphia Eagles getting back with Jalen Hurts. How important could that chemistry be?
You know who they gave a gift to? They gave a gift to every Eagles fan in this city. An electric player who will light it up, and he's a good kid. He's a nice, humble, quiet young man. He's never going to give them a bit of trouble, and he's a gift to the city.
Merrill, yes, the fact that the quarterback and the new wide receiver play together is a bit of a plus for this team. And I think that they made a statement because I'm with you. I thought it would have been a tough choice between cornerback and wide receiver when the two corners went. It made the choice easier. But they did what the owner suggested they do, if you believe Chris Mortensen's report. They, with their first move, decided to give another weapon to Jalen Hurts. I think it was a necessary weapon. The Eagles now have a lot of wide receivers on their roster, some of which haven't developed yet, some of which are going to be given a shot to still develop, but they're all pretty damn young. Is this wide receiver core going to be good enough for Jalen Hurts this year?
Oh yeah. Listen. We all know that Justin Jefferson was the man last year, so there was disappointment over Rager. But Rager, a healthy Jalen Rager is not chopped liver. A healthy Jalen Rager is still a dangerous wide receiver. And with Rager on one side and Smith as the X receiver, and I'm a guy who likes Greg Ward because he's very, very dependable in the slot. Then you have Travis Fulgham. You have Quez Watkins, who shows a spark, and Hightower, who's an ascending player. I think they've got a deep and exciting wide receiver room.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned Nick Sirianni, new head coach. I think we're all disappointed about how things ended with Doug. But to me, Merrill, I see a breath of fresh air with Nick Sirianni. The energy, just how he relates to people. Obviously, in the pandemic and things are not quite back to normal, we're getting a little bit closer. We don't have the same access we once did. But your first thoughts on Nick Sirianni?
He is a guy with a lot of enthusiasm. I've had an opportunity to spend one-on-one time with him, and he's a great guy. And I'm anxious to see what the whole thing looks like when it comes together, system-wise and the roster. But he's 39 years old. Dick Vermeil was 38 when he came here, and both guys have tremendous enthusiasm. We know what became of Dick Vermeil. It's a lot to project for anybody coming in, but give him a chance. He's a bright, young, enthusiastic, dedicated football professional, and I can't wait to see it unfurl.
Merrill, day one is always the most important. It grabs the most attention, and everyone pays mind to it because it is the supposed top players. Day two just as important. And day three, although not nearly as glamorous, with more picks involved, can be just as important. We're coming up on day two. Having taken a wide receiver off the board, no, you try to not draft specifically for need, but if you can, it's never a bad thing. And give us a little guesstimate as to what the Eagles will do with their two picks. They had three, had to give up one to get DeVonta Smith, but they still got their own second and third round pick. What direction do you think the Eagles are going?
Jody, I have to run to a speech, but let me just tell you this before I go, because I love being on with you guys. If I'm there at 6 and Asante Samuel Jr. is there at 6, I
love it.
And then late in the draft the punter, because they lost a great one in Cam Johnson. So
I said the same thing, Merrill. Draft a punter.
At some point, it's 5th, 6th, 7th.
Yeah.
I have to run, but it's great being on with you guys, and you're doing a great show.
Merrill,
thanks, Merrill. Appreciate it. Appreciate a few minutes.
We had a couple of minutes with voice of the Philadelphia Eagles, Merrill Reese, here with us on Birds 365. He's going down the Johnny Mack route. That all important 7th round punter.
Yes.
Is out of Wake Forest?
Georgia Tech, Presley Harvin.
I knew it was one of those ACC schools, and I certainly looked them up, but I didn't keep my eye on the punting at Georgia Tech this year. What's his name again?
Presley Harvin. He was the Ray Guy Award winner, Jody. He weighs 255 pounds, So Eagles fans will love him. He also can throw the football. He's one of those guys, Johnny Hecker-like. I think Eagles fans would love to have Presley Harvin.
Put the fake punt back into the Eagles playbook going forward. Doug wasn't afraid to call it because Doug was never afraid of anything, but you got to have somebody that, can throw the ball. That would be a nice addition. And hey, if he's an oversized punter, that would balance the scales for the undersized wide receiver that the Eagles just took yesterday.
Good point.
So it's overall team pounds, not next. I'm just kidding with you. All right, we are the Birds 365 guys. We'll take a time out. I got a bunch of other things I want to run by Johnny Mac. We're hoping to have an hour or two guest, perhaps a former Philadelphia Eagle and big-time broadcaster over the last 20 years. Maybe joining us. We're not 100% locked in on that yet.
And he's doing something big today, so I hope you get him.
Okay.
He's doing something very big today.
We will find out about that. All right, he is John McMullen. I'm Jody McDonald with your Birds 365 guys right here on the JAKIB Media channel.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.